Mitchell, she was a year younger. Congratulations on another trip around the sun, Ashlyn.
I have to say, Joe forgot to wish me happy birthday
but
on my actual
today.
birthday. So you're redeeming yourself today. Chelsea didn't forget. Yes. Chelsea wished me happy birthday. So we know who the real one is.
Make a note in my calendar.
Mark it for next year already. Well, here's a look at your Fox 10 midday headlines. First, we're taking a look at President Trump's 100-day scorecard. We'll have a full recap of his actions in the past 100 days, including executive orders, tariffs, and foreign policy. Then locally, with summer just 2 months away, Mobile County Public Schools is educating parents about healthy tech habits, mental health, and online safety for their kids when they have that downtime during the summer months. So if you missed this important seminar, don't worry, we'll have the full recap. Finally, it's a toasty Tuesday out there. Jen will have your forecast in just half an hour, but for now, tossing it back to you guys.
Keeping a close eye on your forecast. Conditions are calm and quiet across the southeast, but we're expecting some toasty temperatures out there for today. I'll be breaking down more of your forecast details coming up.
And straight ahead, President Trump marks his first 100 days with a rally, while Democrats take to the Senate floor with a long list of complaints.
News and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome into Fox 10 Midday. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell. Jennifer Lambers and I are glad you joined us here this morning. Jen, it's a toasty one today. Just a great day to get in the pool, honestly.
It truly is. I mean, it's a beautiful day out there. We're just noticing it's not quite feeling like the end of April.
Absolutely.
I know.
It's warm. I spent the weekend at the beach, and what you can't see is my sunburn underneath my makeup right now. But wear your sunscreen because the UV is pretty crazy.
That's exactly right. So our burn time, it isn't going to take that long out there. We're only going to notice that continuing to tick up by the time we get closer towards the peak of summer. But taking a live look at conditions out there across the southeast, just a mix of sun and clouds out there. Things are still a little active closer towards the Midwest. That's not going to be impacting us. Instead, what we're going to be experiencing today is just more of that sunshine, some beautiful conditions out there for your Tuesday. As mentioned, it's just going to get hot out there, really hot in comparison to what we should be feeling this time of year and the temperatures that we haven't seen so far. It's going to be very similar to how we felt for our Sunday when those temperatures were really beginning to warm up. We're trying to do some outdoor work on Sunday, just trying to work on the lawn, get some of those leaves and bags, and it was toasty out there. So a reminder, if you're going to be working outdoors, if you have the option to, try and do it earlier in the day or later in the evening once those temperatures are just a little bit cooler. But right now outside from our Navigator Credit Union camera at the Battleship, still some blue, but noticing increased cloud cover out there. More of those clouds just beginning to push in, not disrupting much, but we're still feeling warm. We're resting in the lower 80s, feeling more like 84. However, once you take that humidity into account, temperatures all across the Gulf Coast seeing less of those 70s, more of those 80s out there. Right now, Mobile and Calvert coming in the warmest, or actually Milton actually warming up to around 84 along with Atmore. Over the next few hours, those temperatures will continue to tick up, expecting us to be maxing out mid to upper 80s, even some isolated 90s out there for this afternoon. But the good news is that looking in the long range, we will start to notice a downward trend with those temperatures. The trade-off, however, increased rain chances. I'll be breaking down more of those details coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
New at 11 this morning, President Trump marks a major milestone in office today. But as he prepares to tout his accomplishments over his first 100 days in office, new consumer confidence numbers show many Americans are not feeling as excited. Fox's Caroline Shively has more from Washington. Well, hunger in the meantime is growing across the Gaza Strip, with an Israeli blockade preventing food, fuel, and medicine from entering the region for roughly 60 days and counting now, as crowds continue lining up outside of aid centers. Humanitarian groups say they're running out of food, citing how many of the more than 2 million Palestinians are living off canned vegetables and lentils. In the meantime, Israeli airstrikes targeting Hamas militants aren't slowing down. Blasts Sunday night into Monday killed at least 27 Palestinians, including civilians, according to local health officials.
My nephew, when I recognized him yesterday, he was without a head. There was only a mark by his ear, and we recognized him from that.
And listen to this. It's estimated that Hamas is still holding 59 hostages. 24 are believed to be alive. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will continue the war until all the hostages are released. Officials in Qatar say Hamas is ready for a deal, but Israel would most likely not accept the terms. Also this morning, tens of millions of people across nearly all of Spain and Portugal had power again as of Tuesday morning after Monday's massive electrical outage. Disruptions to transport services were expected to go into a second day as questions mount over what exactly caused this blackout. Both countries remain under states of emergency after power was lost across the entire Iberian Peninsula and even part of France. The lights went out, traffic piled up, and subway systems failed. Determining the cause of the meltdown, though, could take weeks. According to Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, the grid operator said it happened when 15 gigawatts of power were suddenly lost in just 5 seconds. Right now, we continue to learn more about the legacy of Alexis Herman, the first African-American woman to serve as the United States Secretary of Labor. The city of Mobile joins others mourning the loss of this Mobile native who died Friday. Alexis Herman was a former Mobile Area Mardi Gras Association queen, and she studied at Spring Hill College. Mobile City Councilman William Carroll says he knew Herman personally, and her life will be an inspiration for years to come.
It's immense that we have an individual that was educated here in Mobile, grew up here in Mobile, and her family is still entrenched here in Mobile in so many things. And the inspiration that it gives not only to just her family, but to others is just paramount.
And following Herman's death, U.S. Secretary of Labor Lori Chavez de Raymer said Herman dedicated her life to strengthening America's workforce and creating better lives for hardworking families. Herman was 77 years old. Straight ahead on Fox 10 Midday, Mobile County Public Schools is hosting an event on how to keep your children safe and learn healthy tech habits. Fox 10's Stephen Moody will have those details, but first, let's check in with Jen.
And taking another look at your forecast, a live view outside on Dauphin Island. Just starting to see some of that sunshine, just a few puffy white cumulus clouds, and those winds still breezy out of the south. A few folks getting out there and enjoying it. But over the next 5 hours on the island, temperatures only going to be maxing out in the upper 70s, 10 degrees cooler than our friends further inland. But I'll be talking more about your forecast coming up when we come back.
Super helpful information there. And Stephen, you learned that this is the first of 2 workshops happening today.
Yeah, so parents will have another opportunity to attend the Safe and Sound workshop tonight at 6, and just some of the helpful information that they have, just asking questions like, what does mental health mean to you? What does social media mean to you? And also asking what apps that your kids have access to. So just a ton of helpful information. And once again, it's going to be at the Board of Education building tonight at 6. So you can go to our Facebook page and register, and you can attend tonight at 6.
And really quickly before you go, I have to ask, these are great reminders for you regardless of your age. What's a piece of advice that might have stuck out to you as an adult, from today's workshop?
So for us, when we were in school, of course, social media was in its infancy. So we didn't have all of these apps, all of the access that these kids have today. So one of the pieces of information that was super helpful was that the Mobile County Public School System actually is opening up a hotline where you can actually text the number and report any type of issues that you have. So that's something they're going to be rolling out pretty soon. And of course, we'll have all of that information here on Fox 10 News.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. In the meantime, if you have questions about the South McGregor Avenue construction project, Councilman Joel Daves is hosting a community meeting tonight to talk to you about the city's plan. We're told the meeting will discuss plans to handle traffic diversion when the intersection of Dauphin Street and McGregor Avenue closes at the end of May, and it will stay closed until the end of the year. The meeting will get underway at 6 o'clock at E.R. Dixon Elementary School. That's on Bit and Spur Road. As the weather warms, if you're looking for a spot to unwind and enjoy that coastal breeze, we've got just the place for you. Vanessa is in Gulf Shores at high tide, daiquiris, and mimosas. How fun is that? Every time Vanessa gets back from her segment, I always tell her, I think your goal is to just make us jealous here, and it's certainly working. What a beautiful day. But the fun isn't over. Tomorrow, she actually plans to visit a cat cafe. So we'll see what that's all about. Stay tuned for that story. In the meantime, straight ahead, we have your business headlines as Starbucks is filling orders faster and UPS is cutting jobs. Much more on Fox 10 Midday when we come back. Well, listen to this. Starbucks says it's filling orders faster. The Java giant says it's testing tech at a dozen locations, and it's actually shaving 2 minutes off the average wait time for a drink that's made inside the cafes. Starbucks said 3/4 of orders at the test cafe's busiest times were completed in 4 minutes or less, nearing its service time goal while not delaying mobile orders. Starbucks will expand the pilot to more locations as it looks to recapture those lost sales. Well, General Motors says it can't predict its business for the year. UPS is cutting jobs, and Merck announces a massive investment. Fox's CJ Papa has those stories and more in a look at today's business headlines. Story. A letter written by a Titanic survivor sold for nearly $400,000 over this weekend.
Yeah, so first-class passenger Archibald Gracie was one of the most well-known survivors on board the ship.
Yeah, on April 10th, 1912, he wrote of the ill-fated steamliner, quote, "It is a fine ship, but I shall await my journey's end before I pass judgment on her."
And the letter sold Saturday for $399,000 at auction to a private collector from the U.S.
Oh, what a treasure. As the Titanic sank, Gracie jumped from the ship and managed to cling onto an overturned boat.
He went on to write a book about his experiences, but he did not fully recover from hypothermia and died later that same year.
I was always super fascinated with the Titanic growing up. I don't know if you've seen, there's a new documentary on Disney Plus where they took the first digital picture of the Titanic wreck.
Wow.
So they were able to basically uncover all of these mysteries, how the Titanic sank. Really incredible if you haven't watched it.
I haven't. I went to the cemetery that a lot of the folks that passed away on the boat were buried once they were able to retrieve them and bury them back in the U.S. mainland. And it's interesting to see all of the people that still go back there and some of the musicians that were on board. There's folks that will go and they'll leave musical instruments in front of some of their graves.
It's a story we'll never stop telling, for sure.
That's exactly
right.
right.
Listen to this. A miniature dachshund is safe and sound after going missing in the Australian wilderness for, get this, more than a year.
So the little dog named Valerie disappeared back in November 2023 when her owners took her on a camping trip to Kangaroo Island in South Australia.
Yeah, she survived on the rugged island for 529 days.
So it took more than 1,000 hours and rescue crews scouring more than 3,000 miles to finally find the pup.
They didn't give up, obviously. Rescuers used her owner's t-shirt and dog food to lure her in.
And Valerie was finally caught using a remote-controlled trap.
We want to return her to her beautiful owners the best way possible and not cause her any more trauma or stress, because undoubtedly out there in the 16 months or whatever, she would have gone through a lot. Harsh winters, which we didn't want to happen again. Summers, not being able to find water.
And Valerie will be returned to her owners after being on the island for at least another week in order to give her time to just adjust to domestic life again. Good for you, Valerie. My dog would not survive a day anywhere, let alone the wilderness. That's incredible.
I don't think mine would either, but you know what? I'm sure they can kick it into them. They can find the will.
True.
I need an update on Valerie once they do reunite her with the owners. Well, let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast. Just a reminder, right now is a great time to go ahead, download the Fox 10 weather app. That way you're staying updated with all of the changes that we're tracking. We do update these forecast videos for you daily. Plus, also, if you scroll down, we want to see what you're seeing outside. So if you ever just press submit your pics and videos, you can share not only what you're seeing, but also you can see what other folks are submitting to. We have a nice pup out there that was enjoying a pool day over the weekend. Let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast and what I'm seeing outside. Nice, beautiful conditions down in Orange Beach. Things look stunning out there, seeing some sunshine. As we get further along into the rest of today, daytime highs are going to be toasty out there, maxing out in the mid to upper 80s, possibly even some isolated 90s. Over the next few days, we will start to notice that downward trend, but the trade-off is going to be some rain chances once we get closer towards Friday and Saturday. It'll push us near average for where we should be starting off for the month of May. But I'm looking ahead. The Climate Prediction Center, the CPC, does have that temperature outlook May 7th to May 13th. High chances for us to be above average for those temperatures. Again, this works in probabilities, so it looks like these toasty temps are here to stay. But I'll have a final look at your 10-day outlook coming up in just a little bit. We'll also be back with 3 to know before you go. But for now, a live view outside on Dauphin Island.
Story for you today. An out-of-control boat left speeding without a driver provides chance for a pair of cops to test out their action star chops. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Who doesn't love a Hollywood-esque hero's jump onto a runaway vehicle? We've all seen it in the movies and marveled at the high-speed, fearless feats, but even though it may not look as effortlessly cool, it does happen in real life. Like in Florida, where a pair of cops with the Sarasota PD Marine Unit had to run down a runaway boat that was rendered driverless when a large wave threw its operator from the helm. The craft was left cruising in circles at about 40 miles an hour. Using a tow line to slow the speeding boat, the cops caught up to it and made their action movie move as one officer fearlessly jumped onto the speeding vessel and safely brought it to a halt. Sometimes the action falls right in law enforcement's lap. Watch the left side of your screen as a vehicle is seen rambling along a Kansas interstate median before going airborne and landing upside down right in front of a trooper's vehicle. Amazingly, the trooper reported the driver was completely unharmed thanks to the use of a seatbelt and the benefit of the SUV's modern safety features. Finally, some people are just born to be action heroes, like this barefoot camo-wearing dude bro spotted giving a gator on the loose what for on a Florida interstate. Jacksonville Sheriff's officials shared video of licensed trapper Mike Dragich, better known as the blue-collar brawler, assisting officials with the gator getting in the median of I-95. They said if you happened to spot the wild scene, your eyes weren't playing tricks on you, it really happened. They also called it just another totally normal day in the Sunshine State. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Here's your 3 to know before you go on this Tuesday. A new survey reveals just how giving Americans really are. The survey shows about 75% have given money to a charitable organization, while about 25% of participants say they didn't contribute any money at all. The survey shows that the majority of Americans who donated gave less than $500. And the data shows that 40% of Americans donated to an organization that provides food, shelter, and other basic necessities. Well, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announcing Florida anglers will have a 126-day Gulf Red Snapper season this year. This is a 23-day extension from the previous year. The governor says this is the longest season since Florida began managing its Gulf Red Snapper. Florida's 2025 Gulf Red Snapper summer season will begin over Memorial Day weekend. That's from May 24th through the 26th and will reopen June 1st through July 31st. Major holidays during the season includes Thanksgiving and Christmas weekends. Along with just recreational fishing, there are representatives with waterfront restaurants who said the lengthening of the season could help those local businesses. Finally, the Washington Commanders will soon call the site of RFK Stadium home once again. The new stadium will reportedly serve as an anchor that will bring new housing, retail, and even public spaces. Construction is expected to cost about $2.7 billion overall. The roof stadium should be open for games by fall of 2030. Washington played its last football game at RFK Stadium in 1996. The team has played at Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland since 1997. That'll be beautiful and super neat to see. But before we go, let's check back in with Jen. Jen, we got to stay cool today.
That is exactly right. As you do take a look at the final 10-day outlook, we will start to see some of those toasty above average temperatures today and tomorrow. Improvements by the end of the week, but the trade-off is going to be increased rain chances. Unfortunately, looking a little unsettled for Friday and Saturday, so just stick with us as we do get closer and we have a better idea with our futurecast models. But it's short-lived humid by midweek next week. Heading into the month of May, we are back above average with temperatures in the mid 80s, but the good news starting to dry out by that point.
That's right. We have 2 days left in April.
I know.
That's why I'm ready for summer, though.
Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 Midday, you guys. We'll see you at 3 o'clock.